on Proline TV as I'm trying to mesmerize my guest here, Mark Carman from CHGO Sports. Mark, of course, is the Bears analyst here on the Our Football Network here on Proline TV. Thanks a lot, Mark, for joining us again.
Always my pleasure, Greg. Good to see you.
Yes, it's a great time of year. Preseason weekend number one in the books. I guess before we get started on everything, how did it go?
It was interesting for the Bears. Caleb Williams wanted to play, but in Ben Johnson's first year as head coach of the Bears, that was not the plan. They had a practice with the Dolphins on Friday that was at least somewhat spirited, more so on the field that Caleb wasn't on. The Bears defense was getting after it a little bit. Some of the Dolphins beat reporters that were there thought it was a little too physical. I didn't quite see it that way, but I also had my eyes more on the offense. But yeah, it didn't play in the game. They're practicing today, the day after a game, which is rare as well. So going about a little bit of a different way here. And then Buffalo's coming in. They're practicing against the Bears on Friday, and then they play Sunday night. So it'll be interesting to see if Caleb plays in that game or perhaps the final preseason game when they play at Kansas City, the week after that.
Okay, so a lot of obvious news coming out regarding Caleb and how things are going. Most of it seems to be on the negative side, but you tell me, how do you think he's taken to the first training camp under Ben Johnson?
Yeah, I don't have that view. I think I'm the balanced guy here, Greg. I think
that's what we want to hear. Yes.
Yeah. So look, Caleb is being asked to do a lot of things that he just wasn't asked to do in college. Play under center, go through multiple progressions and long play calls. I mean, it was interesting to hear Case Keenum say in the postgame yesterday that Ben does not make it easy on quarterbacks. He's asking you to do a lot of things. So for a second-year guy, after a really challenging rookie year where he put up fine numbers for a rookie especially, but the first Bears head coach ever to be fired during the season in Matt Eberflus. I think you just got to give Caleb a runway. But I also think that Caleb's going to need perhaps another whole year of a runway. I mean, sometimes it just takes longer for guys. And I think with everything that's being put on Caleb's plate, I think it's fair to – I know everybody wants it now in this world and in any corner of the world, if you will. But I think, in evaluating him, I think the Bears are going to have to kind of wade through a lot of noise this year if they really want to, be pot committed with Caleb. And that's what I would think they would be. They made him the number one overall pick. As much as I love their backup, Tyson Bagent, who I think is going to, at some point, will have some serious success in this league for some team. But in Chicago, you drafted Caleb number one, and unless he gets hurt, you got to run him out there. And maybe he'll hit, week one against Minnesota. But if he doesn't, I think you just keep going.
Yeah, so just one of those things where, and again, I use the word negative, but it's really criticism, things of that nature regarding, like you said, because everything you just said is spot on. And as you know, as part of the media, they're just going to attack that stuff. And media doesn't care about patience. But that's what is going to have to happen. And that's what the fans are going to have to be, is patient, because as long as he shows improvement during the course of the season, that's what you're looking for. And then maybe worst case scenario, he breaks out in 2026.
Right. And Ben's made a whole thing about not making the same mistake twice. So, which Caleb says isn't happening. I'm not sure if I quite believe that. I'm sure let's live in reality here. You learn something, you forget it, you learn it, you forget it. And then maybe down the line, you really have it, especially when it's something as challenging as what he's being asked to do. But, look, it's a different spot for Caleb, knowing that he has Ben Johnson, who knows what he's doing, yes, versus Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron and whatever that was last year.
Yeah.
So I still think there's some slightly odd comments, like I'm learning Ben and he's learning me. And I'm kind of like, I don't know about the learning you part. You need to learn the offense. I get it. Ben's got to connect with him and all these things. And he's trying to create the offense around him. It's not just going to be some cookie cutter. This is the offense. Learn to play in it. He's got to create the offense around Caleb. But I do think there's still and he said something last week about I did it wrong. Ben called it out. I was mad about it, and then I realized I was wrong. So all of this is going on. When you're as talented as Caleb, and people have been blowing you up for as long as they've been doing that since probably he was 12 years old, maybe even before that. It's this is a different reality that you got to sort of settle into. Like, oh, well, at the top level here, I might not quite be the man yet. So let me lean into settling into that and trying to get to where I want to go.
Speaking of Ben Johnson, as a first-time head coach, I know it's early. It hasn't been a regular season game yet, but how is he doing?
I think he's doing great. The concern about a guy who's, to your, underlining of never being a head coach, you kind of wonder, okay, you're an offensive guru, but can you actually command the room? And by all accounts, from every corner of that locker room, anyone we've talked to all preseason long, Ben Johnson has command of that room. So that's huge. Now, hasn't played a game, started losing some games, yesterday was a preseason game. They were very aggressive on fourth down. That doesn't necessarily mean they'll do that in the regular season, but maybe they will.
Yeah.
He certainly comes from that. Now, how will that be received? And, how will he handle it because he has a look on the sidelines like, dude, you don't look like a rookie head coach. You look like you've been here, done that. So at some point, I'm sure some guys, he might rub them the wrong way, perhaps. But to this point, he has landed with a force, if you will, and a sturdiness and all the things that you would want in a head coach. So I've been extremely impressed.
Yeah, because if anybody knows what it's like to be a really good coordinator, but not so good head coach, it's Dennis Allen. And how's he doing? How's the new defense taken to his scheme?
So that part of his staff, and really the staff as a whole, I think has been a huge credit to Ben. Having a guy who's been a head coach, who's been a very successful defensive coordinator, who has his own aura when, he's in the room. And the Bears are going to play a very attacking style defense, all the Dennis Allen things, man-to-man, getting after the quarterback. They're sending 0 blitzes yesterday in preseason game late, I think Dennis Allen is a phenomenal hire and really they've done a lot of really good things. Dennis Allen, they kept the special teams coach, Richard Hightower, who was the best guy on the staff last year. That was the right call. Declan Doyle, 28-year-old offensive coordinator. The way they're talking about this guy, he has none of the 28-year-old. It's very, very well respected for a young guy. I think of just a star in the making, perhaps, in the OC. Plus, Antoine Randall gets the associated head coach, and he's a coach of wide receivers. He could be a head coach down the line, too. Staff just seems loaded to me. They've done a really good job.
Okay. Let's talk about, well, first of all, are there any key injuries, either from yesterday that is concerning, the preseason game, and as well as anything that's happened during camp? Is everybody that's important to the team looking like they're going to be ready for week 1?
Well, the biggest injury was Jalen Johnson with he got hurt working out, a leg injury, hasn't participated in training camp. That's arguably the Bears' best player, certainly their top corner. And the hope is that he'll be ready week 1. So that's not good. That's not good at all. And they've had a very healthy competition as who's going to step in there. But it's going to be a significant drop from where Jalen was at. Jalen finally got paid by the Bears, and now he's instantly underpaid. I think he's the 13th, I want to say, highest paid corner in the game, which is not where he's at. Jalen's a top 5 player, if you want to, you can quibble about it, but he's up there. So that's big. And then the other side is that at left tackle, the Bears, went out and traded for Joe Thuney, Hall of Famer left guard. And then they went and paid, 4 years for Drew Dahlman to be their center and traded for Jonah Jackson, right guard. And they drafted Darnell Wright, 10th overall. He's going in his third year at right tackle. But at left tackle, Braxton Jones, serious ankle injury, still coming back, had to drop a ton of weight. And he wants to get to 310. He's at 300. At least that's what he was last week when we talked to him. He got blown by yesterday. I got to watch the game, to be honest, Greg, again, because, you can't get a great feel for an offensive lineman unless you go back and watch the whole thing, which I haven't done yet. But he's not there yet. And then the rookie, Ozzie Trapillo, would make the most sense for the Bears if he can step in and do it. But Braxton was the starter yesterday. And the other candidate for that left tackle job, Karan Amagaji, was hurt last year, and now he's hurt again. So that's that spot still is up for grabs. And last time I checked, left tackle is important. I'm pretty certain that nobody would dispute that. So that's definitely something as far as the injury front and just the overall front. The Bears probably it's their biggest concern right now, I'd say.
Okay. Speaking of rookies like Trapio, which other rookies have broken out or at least looked like they've made the most improvement?
So they got it right. Hasn't played a game. I'm getting ahead of myself, but why not? Colston Loveland looks like a real player here, Greg, at the 10th overall pick. I mean, they took him ahead of Tyler Warren, which had some people scratching their heads, probably myself included. But this guy's getting loose all the time. He's coming off a shoulder injury, but he did play into the preseason. Got taken to the ground yesterday. It seemed like he came out of it okay. That pick looks like he's going to be very quarterback friendly. So that's one. And now Luther Burden got hurt in OTAs and missed the first couple of days of training camp. And it was kind of odd what was going on. The Bears weren't reporting it exactly how serious the injury was, and then he wasn't there, so that was curious. But then they said they hoped that he would be out there soon, and that's what ended up happening. And Luther can get open. Luther is been very friendly on third down. I mean, yesterday Tyson Bagent on his third drive, you had a holding penalty, got knocked back to 1st and 20, and then you had a ball dropped by a tight end, Durham Smythe. And so it was 3rd and long, 3rd and 16, and I'm like, he's going to Luther. And he went to Luther, and Luther made the play, and they got a first down and continued on and ended up scoring a touchdown. So Luther's fast, and he's got that twitch. So he dropped in the draft because of character issues, which, in interviewing him at least, is a different cat. He's not the most verbose guy going in Luther, but he is one of the twitchier ones that I've seen. The Bears, if Luther stays healthy and stays in his playbook, like Ben Johnson is saying that he's doing, Luther could be a big time hit.
And by the way, my homeboy Kyle Monangai looked pretty good.
He sure did. Kyle Monangai deserves to be underlined. Thank you for doing that. Put his foot in the ground, head down, going forward, getting yards, falling forward. The Bears need help in that running back room. 7th round pick. He has an excellent opportunity to be running back 2. And, DeAndre Swift didn't play yesterday, so I don't know ultimately how they'll split carries. But Roshan Johnson is hurt as well. Speaking of hurt guys, that's a third-year back that's, great at the goal line, but hasn't really, shown himself to be valuable in any way that would stop Monangai from making an impact. So that pick in the 7th round is looking real solid right now.
Any of these 3 defenders, rookies, any of them, especially Turner as a 2nd rounder, have broken ground yet?
Yeah, see, I keep on forgetting all the Bears that are hurt here. Turner's been hurt too.
Wow, it's a lot of injuries. Okay.
Well, Turner was dinged up a ton in college, and the Bears took a shot on him because of his upside and all that. But he got hurt and is out a month. So hard to say what's going on there. Ruben Hippolyte made a lot of tackles yesterday. That was an interesting pick in the 4th round. He was expected to be a 7th round guy, but the Bears loved his speed, so they grabbed him once the run on linebacker started. He made a bunch of tackles yesterday. Looked a little off in coverage, but did play downhill pretty nice. So that was impressive. And Zay Frazier is also dinged up. He's not dinged up. He's got some personal issues that we don't know what's going on there. Yeah. So.
Any of the undrafted rookies, if you had to make a prediction and I know it's early, but if you had to make a prediction on what you've seen so far on 1 or 2 of them that make the team, could you do that?
Well, make the practice squad. Let's go with Jade Walker out of Texas A&M has had a touchdown catch yesterday. He also dropped one in the end zone on a good ball from Case Keenum, but he was impressive. And he's, the Bears trying to build this culture, and he comes from Texas A&M, where he won the Aggie Award for best teammate. So that just fits, I would think, nicely into what they're trying to build here. Also, J.P. Richardson from TCU has flashed a ton in training camp. Not so much yesterday. I think he caught 1 ball, but he can return kicks. He can get open. He's an interesting guy of the undrafted dudes that maybe has a shot.
Okay, so out of all those guys, you're zeroing in at least right now on those 2 receivers.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Give me some breakout players, because one of the guys that I saw that looked pretty good, and I know he had a nice college career. I think he was a 5-star. Was Noah Sewell. He looked really good.
So Noah is also entering his third year and has not played much at all. He was, Jack Sanborn did a really good job here, and the Bears decided to let him walk out the door, and he's now a Dallas Cowboy, and I didn't quite understand that, but whatever. New coaching staff. He's not super fast, so Sanborn's a Cowboy. But this does open the door for Sewell, and really, the Bears are looking for that third linebacker. And Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards are locked in 1 and 2, and they're trying to figure out actually who's going to play the Mike and who's going to play the Will between the two of them. So that strong side, they're looking for somebody physical. Noah, he's got that size. So, and he actually had a very good game yesterday too. So Noah Sewell being a breakout guy is an excellent underlining once again by you, Greg. Good work that plays. And if I was going to think about anybody else breaking out, I mean, perhaps Rome Odunze year 2, if the Bears can find their offense. I mean, he had a solid rookie year, but not spectacular. That guy could be a big time security blanket for Caleb. But Caleb's got a lot of targets. DJ needs the ball. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, maybe I should have. I don't know if he'd be considered. I think he is considered a breakout, because I probably should have started with Austin Booker after the game he had.
Well, so Booker was great yesterday, and he put on 8 pounds, but he's still a little bit light. Can't really play the run.
Okay.
But he's got a great motor. So as a situational guy, second and long, third and long, I would expect Booker to be on the field.
Okay.
But Dennis Allen has talked about he needs to be more consistent. I mean, he was a beast and a half yesterday. That was fun to see. So there's talent there, and one of my old Chicago Bear friends, Al Harris, who played the D-line for the Bears, he's a good friend of mine, and he keeps on texting me that he thinks that he sees a young Richard Dent right there in Austin Booker, which is some big time praise. Al was a hell of a player himself too. So a guy to keep your eyes on for sure. I don't think he's quite there, but the talent is real, and if he's just got to keep on putting on weight.
Okay, before I let you go, I want to talk about, let's pop in here. The Bears regular season win total is 8.5. And again, this varies at different places. This is DraftKings. You could also go 9.5 and get a little bit of extra juice there, or go under. What do you think? Is it too early? Have you decided what you think the best course of action would be? If any fans or handicappers out there are thinking Bears over under win totals?
Well, scroll up here. Let me see the under for 6.5. What's the number on that? And then 5.5 is plus 450. Interesting, because I would try to because I think the range is very wide here for the Bears. If Caleb hits, or whatever, if any of the quarterbacks hit, it's like let's say Caleb gets dinged up somehow and Tyson's in there, because I really believe in Bayesian a ton here. But so if one of the quarterbacks hit with the talent that's on this team, especially at the wide receiver and the tight end position, I think there's enough in the running back room too, and I think they'll be decent up front if somehow, some way they can settle in at left tackle. This could be a 10-11 win football team. That absolutely can happen. Now, if it doesn't hit and they're scuffling along, and they were in a ton of close games last year, so it's hard to believe they're going to be back down around the 5 zone. But it could happen, because look, I mean, everyone thinks that the Detroit's going to take a step back, and I think that's logical with losing both of their coordinators, losing their center, and people think Minnesota's going to take a step back. These are 14 and 15 win football teams, by the way. But so yeah, Minnesota and JJ McCarthy takes a step back, but it's still a good team.
Sure.
There's no easy wins in the division.
No.
So and Green Bay's just solid. So I sort of would, if I was betting the over under with the Bears, I would probably take the under on 6.5, and then give me the over on what do I get at 10.5?
3-1.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I would do it.
Under 6.5 and over 10.5.
Yeah, I
like it.
Yeah,
I like that strategy.
That's I mean, you probably end up losing both bets, and
Well, you hit one of them, and you got a winner.
Yeah. So that's how that I try to
That'll
have a little
work.
fun with it. Yeah.
I like that one. Okay, so lastly, the week 1 game. I know we're not going to go breaking it down left and right. We only got another minute with you. So, what do you think about the matchup?
On opening night with the Minnesota Vikings?
Yep.
Well, so it's interesting. You pay attention to Minnesota. J.J. McCarthy got 1 series this weekend. Vikings fans wanted more. Caleb didn't play. Games in Chicago. Bears are a 1.5-point underdog in the game, which I think screams that you bet the Bears.
Does it? Interesting.
Well, so, I mean, I don't know. You're at home on Monday night, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Vegas knows these things. So, look, I am not going to be bold enough to pick against the Bears and this rabid fan base on opening night against Minnesota. So I'll say that the season starts off with the defense playing well enough to get at JJ and give him a rough night, and the offense does enough, and the Bears start out 1-0.
And how's the series between the two teams lately?
Oh, I mean, the Bears are just lose. But they, like last year, they could have got Minnesota twice. They could have had them at home, and
they were close game. They were competitive last year. Okay.
Yeah, they're right there. They're absolutely right there.
Mark,
yep, no doubt.
I appreciate it. I know you got to go, so I just wanted to thank you one more time for doing this. And I'm sure if things go well, and hopefully they will, I'm sure they will, we'll have the opportunity to talk to you during the season.
Greg, appreciate you as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. All right, that is Mark Carman. And again, we have links in the description of this video that you could check Mark out. Look at that, social media, check him out on YouTube, all over the place. And we'll be, of course, hoping to hook up with Mark again during the season. We have already interviewed Adam Patrick, who does a great job covering the Minnesota Vikings. We are going to be interviewing Jeff Risdon, who does a phenomenal job covering the Detroit Lions. And we are right now scheduling the Green Bay Packers. So we're going to have all NFC North interviews locked in here for sure before the season begins. So you want to check that out at Proline TV and, of course, over at Our Lads. And just so you know the distinction, the Our Lads YouTube channel and really the Our Lads website is really mainly a scouting site, but it is also number one when it comes to NFL depth charts. You were looking at the depth charts right there as I was talking to Mark on the screen. And if you've never heard of Our Lads before, we do have links in the description of this video for that as well. Check them out because it is the best depth charts in the industry. Whether you're just an NFL fan, you want to know what's going on with your team. And the reason they're number one is because as soon as there's a move made for any team in the NFL, transaction, move up to the practice squad, down during the season, that kind of thing, Our Lads is right on top of it. You do not have to wait more than a few minutes after the deal is announced. It will be updated at Our Lads. So it's the best depth charts in the industry, bar none. And especially if you're a fantasy football fan, that is the best source that you want to check out for sure. Also, if you're a college football fan, you could also take a look at the depth charts at ourlads.com. And as far as Proline, yes, for college football, we are going to be talking, matter of fact, at 4:00 today. Well, actually, that's going to be a recorded video. I do most of the videos, the interviews live, but we're going to be recording this one with Billy Embry of basically On 3. He is going to be covering both TCU and SMU. So I'm going to interview him on both teams, and therefore I want to split those up, throw them out there in the next few days. So you can check that out. But we have loads of college football interviews as well. We got big teams. We've got mediocre teams. So we don't just favor the best teams only when I interview these teams and try to find out what's going on for the upcoming season in college football. And of course, the football season begins a week from this Saturday. So that's going to be beginning over in Ireland if you're a college football fan. So we're on top of it here at Proline TV and also over at Our Lads for all of these interviews to get you ready for the season, whether it's handicapping, and that's what Proline TV does better than anything, or whether it's scouting players and providing the best depth charts in the industry. You can count on Our Lads for that. Thanks for tuning in here to Proline TV. If you hopefully enjoyed this, hit the subscribe button, the like, and if you have any comments, things of that nature, questions, please throw them in there. Start a conversation, get it going. And we'll see you hopefully soon once again here on the Our Lads Football Network.